Yes, you are. I am here and we are live. And today's guest co-host, I can't speak today. You're already off to a bad start. This Today's guest co-host, we've got David Sisson. Hopefully, I've pronounced your second name correctly. But more importantly, also known as Strange Breed, as you can see him on your screen as. Who we've had I can't think of the word now. An awkward few arrangements of getting shows done, have we not?
A little bit, but third time's the charm.
We're here. We're playing music. What more can we want from life?
Exactly.
So, for those that don't know, David Sisson is Strange Breed. It does say so on your screen. We have played music from Strange Breed before. We spoke a lot and we heard music from Strange Breed actually when Ryan and I'm gonna absolutely destroy someone's second name again, Labriche, came on to discuss some of the music that he's been involved in. So that's very cool. How are you today, sir?
I'm good. I just got up. It's a little early for me, but that's good. I'm gonna have a good time. So it's good because it's so early. I haven't had a chance to be in a bad mood yet. So
I like it. I like it. Okay, I've got a crackly voice. That's always good. It's not good. I will bear with me whilst I fix things. This is the problem with turning up to things slightly late. And unprepared. It's the irony here that after a few failed meetings, it's me that's completely unprepared here. It's not lost on me. But we've had an interesting few weeks. Right, okay. Let's start off. Shall I attack you with some brand new music?
Yes, let's do it.
Excellent. I haven't heard these before myself. I've done this with all of the artists so far. So this is music that has been submitted within the last kind of couple of days. I have very little idea on the band or whatever. What I tend to do is play it, review it live, and I have a little look whilst we're reviewing it on what they're doing on social media and stuff. And then we decide if we like it or not. It's that simple.
Perfect. Let's do it.
I am going to go for. Ooh. How do you fancy some nice, pretty acoustic music?
Ooh, perfect. It's a good way to start.
That's what I was thinking. It's feeling a bit early for me, to be honest. This is Somersaults from a band called Sweeter Than Sorrow. We have played music from them before, and typically it's very super sweet, super lovely, super nice, very crispy, cleany, sparkly production. However, I have done this before, and the band did completely curveballed and went from a kind of soft rock group to a metal group, so you never know.
It's true.
This is Somersaults from Sweeter Than Sorrow. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Can you hear the music?
I can.
Wonderful.
We've
got I've basically rebought like everything. I've got a whole new setup, mixing desk I don't understand properly yet. It's great fun.
Always wanna be. I am doing somersaults with you. The sun is shining and the sky.
Okay, this is a bit different to their other stuff. Very sweet production again.
Yeah.
The keys feel really soft.
This is where I wanna be. I think this is all I ever need.
very subtle song.
days are long,
Little subtle guitar
there's
picks in the
never a
background there. There we go.
raindrop, that the entire world was made for us. I am doing somersaults with you. I am doing somersaults with you. The sun is shining and the sky is blue. This is where I wanna be.
It's a bit eerie, that whistling in
Yeah.
theremin. I'm not too sure about it.
What if they're using the theremin?
It's odd. It's an odd addition.
Yeah, it's definitely a theremin.
I thought they were whistling along with it to start with.
Oh yeah, it's cool. I like how he harmonizes with the. I think it's a cello.
Yeah.
This is where I wanna be. I think this is all I ever need.
An interesting start to the show. I wasn't expecting that theremin. That was Somersaults by Sweeter Than Sorrow here on XRP Radio. Just for those that are watching / listening, if you are watching on catch up on our various social networks, you will hear us talking over the track. If you're watching live, you can head over to XRP Radio or listen on Alexa, TuneIn, or one of the 200 other streaming sites to hear the tracks uninterrupted. If you're enjoying the chat and banter between the tracks, stay tuned to the video feeds on YouTube. They're also on our website and Twitch and all of those kind of places. Right, Mr. Strangebreed, what was your official verdict?
It's a pass for me. I really liked it.
Yeah.
I kind of liked how, like, I think it was a cello in the background. They always harmonized with it. So at first I thought it was just voice, and I had to listen closely for parts to make sure it was an actual cello, which I think was cool. They blended that together. And then the theremin was completely unexpected. And it's kind of cool because, like, everything was pretty standard for, like, a soft song like that, having cello, piano. And then the theremin did, like, a full twist there. Unless it wasn't a theremin. If it wasn't, then I'm really impressed with how they got that sound. But
Yeah, it's a theremin or theremin-like synth. Yeah, the theremin took me by surprise. I would debate whether it fitted, but it was very interesting nonetheless. The everything about it was just so soft though. All of the keys say his voice was soft. The keys were soft. They're really soft. And even though it was mainly vocals and keyboard led, to hear all those really subtle additions from various instruments just coming in the background, not kind of overplaying but just kind of adding compositional elements to the track, just worked really lovely.
yeah, it was impressive because his voice was so understated, and anytime he added a new element in, it somehow didn't overpower the voice. It was well executed.
Yeah, very clever in the mix on that one. Right, Joy, how do you fancy juxtaposing the hell out of that?
Let's do it.
Brilliant. The next artist up, I believe I may have mentioned this guy to you at some point in passing. This is Nightwolf. He's a UK kind of electronica producer.
Oh, okay.
Who did well with a few tracks he got on BBC Introducing over here in the UK. has done a lot of kind of compositional work for games and films as well, which is very cool. Recently, he's gone down a more different productional alley, and his drums are kind of very big beat and got lots of reversey kind of
Ooh, I like that.
slowed down sounds to him. Whether he's continuing in this manner, I don't know, but literally his past kind of 10 uploads have been that kind of thing. And one thing that I've said about Nightwolf is if he's made a track of kind of 120 to 180 BPM, it's very hard to not want to rap on it.
There you go.
It's very difficult to not want to rap on it. I find it very difficult to not just kind of mumble freestyle along with his tracks when they're playing. So here we go. This is called Give Pain. Again, I haven't heard it, so it's as new to me as it is to you. Here we go. Nightwolf always brings good music, guaranteed. Coming with those kind of eastern feels.
Yeah, I already dig that.
Let's get started. You may learn something.
Oh. I wasn't expecting that. So this is what I meant by those big
Yeah, here it is.
reverse drums. See, I told you! I told you I'd make you do it! You can't not rap along to a Nightwolf track, it's impossible! Oh shit! That little stringy sound is really nice. Isn't it?
Yeah, I really like that.
You're listening to XRP Radio. That's Give Pain by Nightwolf. I mean, as I said to you, mate, it never fails to bring just high quality production with catchy beats as well. I said to Strange Breed at the start of that track that it's impossible not to rap. I caught him rapping along with the track. It is impossible. I mean, what? I've played a lot of Nightwolf tracks, so I feel like I repeat myself a lot, but it's just a great producer. Everything's mixed in, everything's in its right place. Loads and loads and loads of little just additional sound elements in the background, the little strings, the little breath synths. Nightwolf does one thing that I think electronica producers have got lazy with recently, and they'll make a really, really, really good 4-bar loop, and then they'll repeat that for 32 bars, and
Yeah.
then they'll make another really, really good 4-bar loop and repeat that for 32 bars, and it's like add some extra bits in that as it goes along to keep it moving, to keep the interest.
A lot of times, a lot of producers' mistakes I see too is they'll do too much of the one loop and then add a loop and then add a loop and then add a loop and they're just adding a loop, one loop,
Yeah.
one at a time, which is okay. It's okay to kind of have a loop build like that, but a lot of artists, like production artists, will only do that.
Yeah.
And with that track, I couldn't hear anything like that. It was just different sections of song coming in and out flawlessly. Like I couldn't notice where there were loops or not. It was really well done.
Yeah, it was nice to see some of the elements from each kind of phrase coming in over each other as well. So yeah, it wasn't just like here's a verse, here's a chorus, here's a verse. Here's some of the chorus in the verse with a little bit of that as well. Yeah, excellent production. Just great composition skills as well. Next track up, I played for the first time yesterday with a guest, and he liked it that much. He's actually in our chat box and on our social media at the moment, telling me to just play Bird Eats Baby. This is a hell of a journey, let's put it that way.
Ooh.
We're juxtaposing things a bit once again.
Good.
They have coined the term post-metal.
Ooh.
But don't worry, don't think you're just going to get screamed at for the next 5 minutes. It's actually very proggy, and we go on a hell of a journey as we get to the end of it. So, yeah, here we go. This is Bird Eats Baby with Hex. 80s style, Stranger Things, Terminator synth.
That tech noir.
Look at that lazy swing on the drums.
Yeah. Oh, also, I didn't email you that one track.
I missed this. This did my first. I missed that little opera break.
Yeah, wow. Oh yeah.
Just keeps delivering expertly. I love your metal band. It's so great. Well, that was Bird Eats Baby with Hex. It's just an absolutely wild tune. It just
Yeah.
You're surprised by pretty much every development and section, yet it's not awkward. It feels
No.
like things haven't just been crowbarred in there just as ideas.
No.
Which is exquisite. Oh. Had a weird little sound there coming.
Oh no.
Like that was just like how you merge kind of old school 80s kind of almost film synth based production with kind of prog metal almost.
Yeah.
And do it successfully. And also, you know what? I don't mind some metal music. I prefer screamy, shouty rather than kind of witches and goblin growly. You know, Cookie Monster vocals and all that.
Yeah.
If you just kind of screaming, shouting, getting some angst out, I can deal with that. When it sounds like you're taking a journey to the depths of Mordor. I don't get it so well. However, there was some bits that were a bit like that in that, and they kind of felt fitting. It didn't feel too awkward. What do you think?
I really liked it. When she was screaming, it actually reminded me a bit of Lingua Ignota. I don't know if you've heard her, but she's brutal, and it's just like a really like guttural like scream. It doesn't even sound like a musical scream, which is a really cool effect. Got like it was deep but kind of high pitched at the same time. Singing voice was incredible. That operatic section was crazy, and just like the fact that you went from like like you said like a 80s film synth to like post metal opera to like hardcore was just weird. The weird that happened in a way that it was constantly fitting.
Yeah.
Like it's just they were really good at knowing when to add something and how to drop something off in a way that you didn't notice it was dropping off.
Yeah.
Very, very smooth transition of styles. And when that first scream came out, I think they completely changed the time signature.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I didn't recognize them changing it back to 4/4. So
Yeah, there was a few different kind of time signature changes. I think their use of that kind of really lazy kind of triplet swing helped them easily merge between some of the sort of time signatures without it being too noticeable. But yeah, there was a couple of points where I'm nodding my head and then I realised that I'm not nodding.
You're off beat all of a sudden.
No, good stuff.
Really
You've brought a track to us today.
I have.
All I know about it is it's apparently called Loverboy. So tell me more
Yes.
about it.
This is from an artist called Scrambled Eggs. It's
Awesome already.
SCRMMBLEDEGGS. So it's 2 M's instead of the AM.
Okay.
He's a fellow hip hop artist in London, Ontario, with myself. We've actually done a lot of tracks together. He did on my new album, Madness of the Infinite. He did a lot of production work on it. A lot of the beats were made by him. And he just released a new album called In Motion. And it's an incredible album. It's not just rapping. It's got a lot of singing. And every song is infectiously catchy. And this one is just really, really fun. And I wanted to show him some love and bring it with me.
All right, let's give it a check then. So what's he called first?
It's called Loverboy.
Loverboy. Excellent. Here we go.
Scrambled Eggs.
Scrambled Egg. What a name.
Who's the lover boy? I'll be the lover boy. You be nothing, boy. Now go be something, boy. Who's the lover boy? I'll be the lover boy. You be nothing, boy. Now go be something, boy. Counting down racks, not counting down racks, but I know move right, cause I see how you act. Not trying to flex, no, I'm not trying to flex, but I know win life, cause I see what's ahead. I spend my money on laundry, I spend my money on rent. Why are y'all still on me? I don't even get a percent. Back
Right, could you possibly give your headphone jack a wobble or whatever your mic is? I've got a bit of like static noise coming from your mic.
Yeah.
I'm on my way, so stop now. Keep my name out your mouth. I'm not below, I won't bow.
Any better?
Who's the lover boy? I'll be the lover boy. You be nothing, boy. Now go be something, boy.
Oh, just a little staticky noise. It's not horrible.
It's weird. I'll try it.
Now go be something, boy. Fuck, I think I lost control. Fuck, I think I need a bowl. Fuck, I think you need one too. Fuck,
I think whatever you did muted your mic. You need to unmute your mic on the screen.
while we're mixing up the tunes. Talk about our different views. Don't mind me, I'll kick it too. It's spitting truth. All these lies better leave the room. I'm shifting too. I want more life than what's given to. I'm on that
No, I
profit.
think it says your mic's not connected, so you'll have to go into the settings.
I've almost got it. Just keep up, then I'm off like rockets. Who's the lover boy? I'll be the lover boy. You be nothing, boy. Now go be something, boy. Who's the lover boy? I'll be the lover boy. You be nothing, boy. Now go be something, boy. Who's the lover boy? I'll be the lover boy. You be nothing, boy. Now go be something, boy. Who's the lover boy? I'll be
think
the
I've got you
lover
back.
boy. You be nothing, boy. Now go be something, boy.
Scrambled eggs there with Loverboy. Firstly, great name, more than anything.
Isn't it great?
Just I want to go. I want to be able to say I'm off to see Scrambled Eggs tonight. That's just great. Fantastic. Yeah, you were right. Definitely very catchy. I am a big fan when, especially in rap, there was so much, and we seem to be getting out of it now, but there was so much kind of mumble rap,
Yeah, oh god.
kind of monosyllabic rap coming out. I love it when I hear some attitude in people's vocals, which he definitely brought to the table. Again, it seems to be a theme with this show, that really soft style of production again. Everything just feels really cuddly and soft and fluffy, which works really well. That kind of bell string synth that is main synth that he's used. That blum blum. That's an interesting one to use.
Yeah, it's a very vibey album. A lot of the tracks are like they're exciting, but they're soft and they're all really catchy. It's a good vibe album if you want a good like relax and kind of vibe out.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really good.
Definitely. Be good for a cruise.
Oh yeah.
Good for a cruise, most certainly. Right, where are we for time? It's about my time of evening, where I because I'm lucky to have lots of international guests. I like to ask you what's the music scene like in Canada these days? What's going on over there?
Well, London especially is crazy good. We actually have a whole Hall of Fame building for music because we have such a big scene. And we have our own music awards ceremony for the city.
That's awesome.
So it's Music Week's coming up in June, and it's a whole week-long event where there's like every bar in London has shows, and there's a whole like award. So it's like a little mini Grammys, but just for the city.
That's awesome. What's it like for emerging artists or breakthrough artists?
It's great. I mean, you have about 10 clubs you can play at. You got dozens of promoters for like almost each genre of music out here. There's like for any kind of music you're playing, there's usually a show and a promoter that's interested in you. And it's a very music heavy city, so everyone's willing to give you a chance, you know.
That's awesome.
So you can be guaranteed at least one show as long as you don't completely suck when you do it.
That's great though. So like I mean, what you find quite a lot is in the independent rings across the world, there tends to be somewhat of an echo chamber that happens where there's a kind of group of friends, shall we say, of kind of 10 to 15 bands that are new bands, they're up and coming bands, but it's that 15 bands that are kind of on rotation through all of that promoter's gigs and stuff.
Yeah.
And you end up almost kind of stagnating your own scene. Is that something that happens there, or is it kind of everyone gets a free guy?
We have like the opposite problem. Like we, for us, it's more, we have more artists than we have the ability to do shows for.
Okay.
So there's been some nights where we have to decide which of the 6 shows we're going to that night. It's actually crazy. Like there's been times I've asked all my friends if they're going to the same show, and 2 friends are going to the hip hop show, 2 friends are going to the metal show, 2 friends are going to the punk show, and like 2 friends are going to like the other hip hop show. Like there's been times we had one night where there were 3 hip hop shows at once in the same city, and all 3 sold out. And then
awesome.
And then like if you want to go see rock or metal, you always have 4 venues from, especially on the weekend, you have 4 venues with equally good lineups to pick from. Like I gotta say, the one thing about this city is you never run out of the ability to go see live music.
That's fantastic. What are the actual gigs like? I mean, are they run by good promoters? Do you get paid, or is it sale based? Or
I think most shows. I think hip hop. It depends who you're working with. But most other genres, like I every time my band has done a show, we've always been paid. And there's obviously like a level of like smaller club to big club, and obviously the bigger the club, the better the pay. But I've never seen anyone get paid less than like $50, which is good for like an opening set with like your first band.
No, that's fantastic. I mean, it's lucky to see bands getting paid full stop and not having to sell their own tickets, or even in the worst cases have to pay to play the gig themselves.
I completely hate pay to play. I'm actually looking into doing a bit of promoting myself. I've done a couple shows and they were both really successful. So I kind of want to start getting into some promoting myself in the city. But I think if you're going to put on a show, it should be obviously the promoter should take a little bit because they're putting a lot of work into it. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's the artists that entertain. It's the artists that got people out there. So you need to share, like split most of the profits evenly amongst the actual performers, because they're the ones that made people show up.
Yeah, that's it. But I mean, it's heartening to hear that the crowds are coming out. I mean, especially with the old pandemic that we seem to have been getting out of now. I mean, I'm surprised a lot of venues in the UK specifically just closed down, and others had to change their business model to stay alive. And though I hate the pay to play models and these. What's happening a lot these days is like a cut of the band's merch sales. If you're selling merch, we want 10% of your merch sales and that. Which sucks, you know, it's not their merch, it's not, but saying in the same breath, the venue needs to stay open, and if it has to take 10, you know, if it can't find anywhere else to make that money and that 10% is what's keeping it afloat, do you pay your 10% of merch to keep your venues afloat, or do you tell them to fuck off?
We got lucky. We fought really hard. The whole like province of Ontario really fought for live music, because it's like, you know, not to get political, but the government was giving a lot of handouts, but they weren't giving any handouts to the music industry. And it's like, I don't know how you expect a completely live industry to still be here after this pandemic. So after like the first year when things were at their worst, they allowed shows, but it was really weird. It was like the kind of seating where it was like social distancing, and you had to be like getting drinks and food, and you weren't allowed to leave your table. And then the artist played on a stage, which was also social distance, with like a plastic curtain in front of us, so you could kind of see us. But if like we spit while we were singing or whatever, it would hit this plastic curtain, and our breath wouldn't get to you, and we'd be performing while you sat and ate. And it was like, don't stand up, don't move. And it was like, you guys play behind that curtain. And it was weird, but it worked. And that's how we had concerts in like 2021, early 2022, is we played behind a curtain while people sat at the other end of the room, which was a very weird vibe, but it allowed us to do shows, and it allowed these bars to get income so that when the pandemic was over, we still had live venues.
How does that work though? So if you're doing major social distancing, your venue capacity is a lot
very
lower.
low. Yeah.
So, I mean, were they selling tickets more expensive? Was there some subsidy from the government or anything? Or
not really. It was like, it was kind of just, it was a lot easier to sell out a show. Because once like 50 people showed up and all the tables were taken, you had a sold out show. I remember the first show I got back where social distancing was over, and there was like people at the front of the stage and moshing and stuff. I was like, oh my god, music is back.
So was it straight like once the kind of restrictions had been lifted, everyone in London, Ontario was just straight back into the venues? It
was slow. It took about half a year for people to warm back in, but I think just based on the shows I've been going to, I think we're back to where we were. Okay. There's been some decline, obviously. Like, you're not going to have the scene be exactly the way it was before the pandemic, but I think we've repaired a lot better than other places that I've seen.
Yeah, I would. It sounds like it has done a lot better than everywhere else that I know. Anyway. So, would you say the effect post pandemic was like so they're still saying that there's some damage, and you had this half a year to get people back in?
Yeah.
Do you think it was people have changed their lifestyle, so they kind of got used to not going out, or was it more people's wariness that the pandemic's actually ended, and not wanting to get ill or get other people ill?
I think there's for the crowds that have disappeared, I think there's two types of people, and obviously everyone has their own story, and this is going to be very generalizing, so like this is obviously take it with a grain of salt. But I've seen some people who have gotten like very hypochondriac after COVID. Like, I think it's just because it was a scary couple of years there. Like there was one hell of a virus before we got a hold on it, and we got vaccines and curbed like it at its worst stage. But I think a lot of people were noticeably like very scared of going out and getting sick, and they kind of just got to this point where they didn't want to go out and socialize face to face anymore. And there's also a group of people that I think got so comfortable with staying at home and not doing anything that they just didn't want to go out and do anything anymore. Like, it just became enjoyable for them to not have to leave the house.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily just enjoyable, but cheaper.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that have kind of moved their normal social gatherings from the bar to their own house and get a few cans from the shop, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And now they're saving, 50 quid a night on their beer bill. They'd rather stay home with their mates. Which is unfortunate because, especially in the UK. This is one cool thing about that I like about Finland and America specifically, is they'll just do like basement gigs in, so if a venue won't take you, we'll find someone's house to do a gig at, which is awesome. You can't do that in the UK, which is well, you could do it, you get shut down very quickly.
So I'll say we can't do that in Canada. We do it in Canada.
Well, that's what I mean. I think whether legally is necessarily allowed in Finland or America, but it's more tolerated. Like in the UK, you ain't getting away with doing that at all.
Yeah.
I've seen garage gigs in the States, videos of them. Where the police have turned up and they've started getting involved in moshing and having a laugh and stuff. They're not bothered about the music being too loud on a Saturday night, which is brilliant. Carry on. But yeah, it's nice to know that a whole scene has survived properly for once. I need to start speaking to London Ontarians and finding out their secret to see if we can do it elsewhere in the world.
There you go.
Most certainly. What's it like over there, kind of charts-wise, mainstream music-wise? Is it very kind of big label?
It's the same thing as
yeah,
it's the same thing everywhere. Like, the only good thing with us is with our radio, we have to have a certain percentage of it be Canadian. I think it's
okay.
I'm gonna get this wrong, but it's either 60-40 or 40-60. I forget which number has to be Canadian, but one of those numbers has to be Canadian artists. So the label picks the 10 Canadian artists that they want to sell, and then we hear their song on repeat to make up for 40% of the day. So it's doesn't
counterproductive.
Yeah, it kind of works and it kind of doesn't work. I don't know. I'm like, obviously I'm more of an underground radio kind of guy because that's where the real music is. Like, there's a very much a manufactured success with like big record labels.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that big record label musicians don't make good music, but I think once a record label that size decides to like you, they can pay for you to be streamed out the ass. They can pay for you to be everywhere, and it's just kind of natural that people will discover you because they can't escape hearing.
Yeah, I mean, this is an age-old thing, and people don't realise this. But say Universal, Time Warner, these are companies with tens of thousands of employees.
Yeah.
Almost all of these companies have a sign-up thing of, if you work for us, you get a free Spotify or Apple Music account, which they have linked on big servers, and they have everyone in their company's Apple Music and Spotify accounts just playing their playlist.
Yeah.
So before any artist has come out, anyone that is on those labels has got 10,000 more listeners, even whether they like their music or not. So you that are streaming their music every single day.
Yeah.
You're guaranteed to hit a chart. You're guaranteed to hit a chart if you're on one of those labels.
Yeah.
It might be, the top 500, but I mean, in a world of 6 billion people,
top 500 is pretty good.
So yeah, it's swings and roundabouts, this industry, and we can all be under that pretense of like, yeah, keep it independent. But I mean, same thing. If BBC turned around to me tomorrow and went, do you want 4 million to join the BBC, kind of merge XRP with the BBC? Oh, 4 million, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, how do you say no to that?
Sorry.
No, I'll stay independent forever. It's like the moment you see the check, you're gonna.
The one thing that you do see more nowadays, like you very get new or breakthrough artists coming from an independent scene into a major label, it tends to be, we've found this good singer and we're going to manufacture them into the position that we want them to be into.
Yeah.
Which I think that's sad. I know these singers are talented and have good vocals, but the compositional side I find really sad. As a producer, I like composing music and I like to be known for composing my music. I find it weird to have a massive team of people kind of formula construct a piece of music, because it's like, oh, we know this chord progression is popular and
Yeah.
it has this emotional effect on this age group, and building a track like that I find weird.
There's this tricky thing you can do. This is my plan if I ever get that kind of approach, which I doubt it. But you almost want to sign on for one album, let them do their thing, let them get you super big, and then after their tour with you, just don't resign. And then all these people already know who you are, and then you go back to being independent, but with all these people already knowing who you are, and then you can go back to doing whatever you want, and then the people that actually like the real you will stay, and you've just gotten like the biggest giant promotion ever that you only have to live through once.
It sounds great, don't get me wrong. The only issue is, one, record companies don't like just giving you a 1 year signing because they want to keep control of the album, at least, that they've made with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And two, some of these advances that they're hitting people with now, like I'm seeing people go, I just got my £200,000 music advance for making my thing, and like at first I'm like, wow, that's quite generous of the company, and then I'm thinking, you're beholden to them now. 200 grand, you ain't paying that back in a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You may have got your advance, and then right, so you've got your 200 grand, but they want you to make 4 albums. Well, that's your 200 grand gone, with all the promotion and outlay that you've got to do for it. So
Right.
what are you gonna eat for these 4 years that you've signed this album deal for? What are you gonna do? But they see a big number and think, fuck. I mean, it's hard to, as a band,
Yeah.
especially if you're younger as well, to have someone, a manager or a label come up to you and go, here's 200 grand for your music. It's so hard to not go, yeah, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because, and I mean, especially, as an independent band, the majority of them, and I can be wrong here, but are not likely to have ever seen that kind of money.
Yeah.
Or know how far that money would stretch. The first time I was thinking 200 grand for certain music projects, I was thinking, that's fucking brilliant. And then you run out of it, and then your project fails, and you owe a company a large amount of money.
You got to make sure you know how to like produce on the low before you do that, because I think our album cost $100. So if you take that in mind and then just stretch 5,000 per album instead of 100, you could probably, because it all comes down to like your producer's ear and how you go about making things. So if you can make sure to keep your costs cheap, then it'll be worth it. It's just, I think people see the money and they go, let's get this orchestra for this song because that would sound cool for 30 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, you see a lot of artists now starting to go kind of the opposite direction, and kind of realise that that's not the way. And you also see a lot of bands now, some of the bigger independent bands that are self-producing. But you wouldn't want them to be produced by anyone else. They know their sound. It may be in their bedroom recording, but they know their sound well enough, and they know their room well enough to get the sound that they want out of it. One of the best. I was going to say, one of the best songs that I ever recorded. I recorded in my bedroom. When I was 16 or 17. But you got to bear in mind, at that point, I'd lived in that room for 17 years of my life. I knew every corner of that. I knew how sound worked in that room. I didn't realise that yet because I was only a young producer. But it wasn't until I went to take my studio, so I took all my gear into like a proper dead sound room and and I was like, I want to be back in my bedroom. I
Yeah.
know, that works.
Well, but I know Billie Eilish did that album where her brother recorded it off his MacBook in her bedroom while she sat cross-legged on the bed, and they got the Grammy for production.
Yep.
So it's like, especially the way technology is getting, if you have a good ear as a producer and just like a decent mic, sometimes that's literally all you need to make an incredible album. Like, it's not the way it used to be where
I do
the
feel
only
like
way it was in a full studio.
I would say that the importance of high level production has dropped massively though, with so many kind of, I mean, the industry's saturated. We know that there's that many musicians making music, and a lot of them aren't great. I mean, not to put, but they compose good tunes. They're just not necessarily great musicians or great producers.
Yeah.
So you get a song that is great, is catchy, and with this mobile life generation, you've got all these people that are listening on lower quality devices, and the audio file in a lot of us has disappeared now. We don't have these big stereo hi-fis that we're constantly adding layers and decks to and changing speakers and whatever. Everyone listens on their headphones, on their iPhone, or stuff like that. So it's a shame, because that people's ears are less trained than they used to be to music. Like the mass audience, the mass public, their ears are less trained, leading to a lot of, I hear a lot of the stuff in the mainstream charts, and whilst radio ready, you sit there and think you could have done better.
Oh yeah.
The production here is not great. It's a great song,
Yeah.
but you've got lazy here. And I find that kind of odd from a musician's point of view. Like, me and you, we want to make our music sound as good as it can for us.
Yeah.
So why are the mainstream now going, the people only listen on their iPhones, so we don't need to do that anymore, it's fine.
Well, the art almost disappears and it becomes fully business based. It's like, let's get this out quick. Let's make sure it follows the algorithm that people like. Let's put it on a playlist. Boom, everyone's listening to it. Okay, cool. Here's your check. Next song.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, not to say I wouldn't love to make a living off music, but I feel like it would taint some of it for me, because a lot of the art would go away.
Yeah.
Like, there's almost more passion into spending like 500 hours on something you like saturated your soul into, that maybe, if you're lucky, 50 people will listen to.
Yeah.
That's still a lot better than like thousands and thousands and thousands of people listening to something that a record label like streamlined and you just sang on, and they're like, boom, it worked, here's money. Like, I feel like you'd be financially stable, but you'd lose a lot of happiness in the creation of music when it's no longer for that 50 people that actually care.
It is odd though, because you see a lot of the up and coming musicians, and they're up and coming more like influencers, and you see this young person mentality of like, I'll be famous, I'll get rich being an influencer on Instagram, and so they're making music, and they're making it from this new kind of personality vibe that social networks are giving artists, rather than the actual quality of their music. And it's a shame to see that love for music and a good craft and good quality is being overled by the want to be popular and the want to be an influencer.
Yeah.
Which is astonishing. Right, we're at the end of the show though. That was a good chat though. Went on.
That was fun.
I do like a musical chat. As always, I always play one track by the guest co-host that has joined us. So I have a track from you lined up.
Ooh.
I thought I 1 second. I've just had a software crash, so I can't hear you for a second. Bear with me. I can see his mouth moving, and I don't know. Right, okay, we're back. So I thought, ironically, at the end of the show, we'd play "Is This the Beginning?"
Hey, okay.
Okay, but it's been great. Finally,
I know we did it. I'm sorry about all the cursed luck we had.
It's not a problem. I know a couple of times it was also due to problems this side, so it happens. But now I've had you on,
Did it.
I will ask you the question that I've asked all my good guests. Of if I'm stuck for a guest for the co-host, would you be willing to come back and join me?
I would love to do this again. This was a lot of fun.
Excellent, good stuff. Without further ado, then, it's been great speaking to you today. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You as well, my
whether
friend.
you crawl back into bed for a bit or get on with.
Nah, I got stuff to do.
God damn that life stuff.
Damn life.
For all the guests, I've been Tizz, this has been Strange Breed. This has been the daily roundup, and is this the beginning? Is the track that I'm playing? That was a bad thing. That was terribly Englished. The next track up is this the beginning? Strange Breed. Sweet, yeah.
Yep.
Thank
No,
you
it
very
is.
much for
It
joining
is. Thank you so much. It's awesome.
Yeah, I've been trying to. I've noticed. I've been trying to look into the kind of idea of interviews on independent radio.
Yeah.
And the problem with them is, if you ain't a fan of the artist, you don't really want to listen to their interview. Interviews aren't really good for independent bands because, you know, it's something that you want to do on your personal Facebook page, not to have a DJ
This is Dr. Sullivan
interview
calling.
you. Because if they're not
There's no
interested
easy way to
in
say
your
this.
music already, they don't want to
You
listen.
can
They
tell
don't know
the
who you
distinct
are.
terms of
They
the
don't
word.
care about you.
And he won't make
So
you
he's
feel
trying to
bad.
find a way to
If you want to see him,
get
please come
artists
over. There isn't
on
much time.
without it just being all about them. So I
Okay,
thought
this
if
one
we
goes
move
out
to
to
this
Pam
kind
and
of
Ron. Remember
co-hosting
me? I was your
Yeah.
son. You've both been
situation.
gone for so damn long.
What,
And I'm
so you
about to
get
join
to
you
know
on the
more you as
longest
a
road trip
person
of
rather
them
than
all.
you
The
as a
great gig in
musician.
the sky. We all return
And it
into the
kind
life
of-
eternally.
Unfortunately, but it kind of panders to that influencer thing that I was just mentioning.
Yeah, because you almost want to get, if you're sold on the person, you'll like the music more even if it's not your typical cup of tea because
We all
you want
return
to support
into
the
the life
person.
eternally.
That's it.
Souls
And
combining back
unfortunately,
internally.
the
We're all
music
connected in
interviews
perfection
are
called
also for
eternity.
musos,
I used to suffer
not your
silently,
average
now
listener.
respirators
I sound
silence
round to
me.
you, and
My
I
cells
love
betray
asking
me
these questions,
violently.
but
Now
how did
half
you
my
produce
body's
this?
cancer cells,
Oh,
they
I got this
multiply
synth and I
inside, they
twiddled
dwell.
this
My
and
life,
whatever.
it dwindles
Majority
down
of
to
people
well. I
don't
miss you,
give a
Mom, I
shit.
miss you,
Yeah,
Dad.
they're just like,
I
does it
just
sound good? Does it
was
sound
again.
bad? I
I
don't
told
give
her
a shit
no
what the
regrets,
process
shit
was.
that I ain't finished yet, but hey,
So
at least I
unfortunately,
got to
you
be
get
a father, kept the family together,
situation where
tethered at the altar.
I've had like big shows,
just
you know,
wish I had a
hundreds
little
of
longer,
listener
kept
shows
myself
going
a little
really well,
stronger
and then
to
the band
avoid the
come on
need for
for an interview.
radiation. Now I'm left a
Everyone goes.
palliative patient, but that's alright.
And
Yeah.
Let's not waste
the band
time. I
is sitting
got
there,
a
they'll get
family
to the
to
end
stay
of the
strong for.
interview,
Gonna pick my
dude,
final
is
word.
that music
It's
bad?
absurd
What
to
the
think
fuck?
I'll never write again.
I have to sit down with them and
Shit,
kind
every
of
breath I
calm
take
them
no
down
stings.
and make them not
Still
give
I
up
look
music.
up to
I'm
my
gonna
lovers
explain
and my
it.
kids.
Look, this
And then it hits.
these people don't know you.
Transmigration.
You've come on being the big. I mean,
miracle's
realistically, you
about to
walk.
set
It's
in.
like walking into, you know, your local train station
This is the
and
end.
just going, "I'm a musician. Buy my music." Did you know? Did you know I've got a CD? Did you know that I put piano on my CD? You know what I mean? Nobody gives a shit. No one cares. All these people in the train station like music.
Yeah.
They don't want to know the ins and outs of how you know, what one day you woke
That's
up and
funny.
you picked up your guitar and you know what I mean? It just doesn't work.
That's funny. I'm a musician.
You got
Like, okay.
so
Yeah.
good. Just push.
But yet, you know, the thing that people do. I mean, this is an awkward time. We've never had a show on this early on XRP.
Someone hold me as
But
I
I'm not
scream.
even
I woke up from a dream. If
Oh,
I
it's
try
fun.
that I can breathe.
I'd
And
find
if I
for
might,
us
I
to
do believe that this is life. I'm alive. My
yeah,
first
you might
moments
find
in this
encouraging
world.
Congratulations,
kind of
it's a girl.
direction
What is the
of,
meaning of that word? Who am I? What am I?
encouraging
Where am I? Who is that
artists,
there lying? Holding me. Tell me, why is she
shows
crying? Did she
there.
just go and name me? I'm so
I hate to
confused, but
use the
can
word,
you
but they're
blame me? I
influencers,
have no
like bringing
point of
people into
reference
that
for
kind
anything
of showing
before me.
themselves off,
I
showing
feel
their
sleepy.
personality off.
Perhaps
Yeah.
the rest
In
of
the
my
aim
answers,
to
please
help
answer me.
them
When I cry, I trust you
get
like
their
no
music out
other.
a bit more,
You've given me this life, so I would
without
like to
having
call
to
you mother.
get a
And
14-year-old
soon I'll
girl
meet
to
the man
dance to their
that
track
you
on
will
TikTok.
tell me is my father.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me one bit that I just lost my memories. I just don't want to
I've had 3 days worth of have tracks blow up on TikTok. Everyone of them tracks blow up because
so you need to cherish every single
everyone.
moment you're reported here with me.
This is what our industry has become.
Life just lingers long enough so we all get a chance to touch
Depressing.
the beauty of creation. God bless this elevation.
Right then.
This sensation that you're feeling now is love.
I'm
And
gonna,
it's more pure than anything that you can ask for from above. There is
We'll
blood
dispose of
being
this
washed
now.
off of my
So
skin.
yeah,
And soon I'm dressed
it's
in
been
white
great
linen and
to
my mother
stand
starts to
co-host
sing
with you.
a
I hope you enjoy your
lullaby.
food.
But it's familiar and it makes me feel
What's that?
peace. So just keep singing to me, please.
I said, I hope you enjoy your food.
Oh, thanks. Quick nibble there.
Right, I'm going to close this up now. So, for all those people watching, head over to hrpradio.co.uk/chat, and you'll be catching the Killogic effect.
Is this the beginning?
And where's my button? Oh, the joys of technology. Right, here we go. Closing thing.